What is up, everybody out there in First Friday YouTube land? It is so good to see everybody. I've been watching the chat going by, seeing Joe Blaylock, seeing One Vision Aerial, seeing Maddie's Drone World, Eat More Possum, 400 AGL, Backwoods Droner, Bud Bieber, Yellow Rose Drones, my brother Brad from Virginia. I haven't seen him yet, but I do see Michael Wright, Texas Architecture Drone Guy, Ray Kelly. He was the first one in tonight, actually. And Dustin was one of the first people in as well. So thank you guys. Really appreciate you being here. Also, a big shout out to Eat More Possum. He's been in the flight crew for 11 months now, coming up on that 1-year anniversary. And also, we have a new flight crew member. Well, One Vision Aerial. But it's also one of those ones where he's been in the flight crew before. I think there was something changing with his, payment plan, but good to see you, Dustin. So thank you guys. I know you could be anywhere, but you're here with me. And also here with me is this guy right here, what? Kai. And, Kai, actually, you might not know this, but I'm actually sitting on a booster seat so that Kai and I weren't too far off from one another.
On the high chair.
I've got the high chair. He got me some crayons. He got me a coloring book, the high chair, got the whole shebang. And then I wouldn't shut up until he let me get my Dr. Pepper. So hold on.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper.
For those of you that don't know, Kai is Lone Star UAV. Boom, right there. This is his new jersey shirt. Not New Jersey as in the state, but new as in it's a soccer, football, hockey jersey, and it's got graphics on the back, on both arms, and it's actually, I really like it. It's very cool. Where can you get this, Kai?
Just go to my channel, up in the banner, follow the Lone Star UAV merch. If you buy this, order or size up. I tried that shirt, and it was a little tight.
It was a little tight on him, but it fits me good, and I look good in it, don't I?
And it's available up to 3X, so yeah, I'm fat.
Well, it probably was long enough because this thing comes down.
Oh, yeah, the length wasn't a problem, but it was so tight that, yeah.
So
you could see every bit of my pony kick.
So that's something to consider when you're getting this shirt. Get a size up. But yeah, if you aren't already a subscriber to Lone Star UAV, go check him out. Also want to give a big shout out to Chris Waters, Sunrise Water Media here in the house. He's taking care of us tonight. So we got a great show. Tonight we are going to talk about the Avata a little bit, a couple of things we've discovered recently about the frequencies and how to fly with other people without interfering. Also what to do if your camera starts shaking, how to fix that. We're also going to talk about the Walksnail. Where is that? So Kai's got this new digital system called Walksnail, and he's gonna actually demo it for us tonight, and we're pretty psyched. We're gonna fly it around here in the space. It's a digital FPV system, but it's not DJI, and it's not 3D. What was the other one called? HD0, formerly Sharkbite. Or Frostbite or whatever it was called. And then we're going to talk about the Big Mac Challenge. I have winners for the Big Mac Challenge. We're going to show those videos of you and your friends safely flying through the Golden Arches all across this fine country of ours with your drones of various types. And we'll announce the winners for that. We've got Chris Hope, not only 2 minutes of hope, but we're actually going to talk to Chris Hope live, because if you haven't seen it already, we had a very, very interesting thing happened on his live stream a couple of weeks ago. He's going to talk about that. And then we're going to also have 2 minutes of hope. We'll have subscriber of the month, and that'll wrap us up. So lots to talk about. So Kai, what's new? What have you been doing?
Well, I've been playing with this Walksnail thing. Mr. CADX had a steal of a deal going, so I decided to go ahead and go for it.
You like it so far?
So far, yeah. So far, so good.
I had a chance to fly it, and I really enjoyed it. But before we get into the Walksnail, I don't even see the name, but I'm pretty sure this super chat is from Joe Blaylock. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. Joe Blaylock, thank you so much. Appreciate that. I want to talk a little bit about the Avata. So it's been out for a month and a half at this point. You've flown it a little bit. What were your thoughts on flying it?
My problem was the goggles. Somebody needs to come up with a better foam for the goggles to where they actually sit square on your face where you can actually see things.
You're talking about the goggles V2?
No.
Or goggles 2?
I'm talking about the goggles too, the new goggles.
Yeah, the 1080. The picture's really good, right?
The picture is very good, but the problem is everything, all the pertinent information is at the bottom of the screen, and the way the goggles line up on my face, I cannot see that.
Yeah. No, they're definitely smaller. I don't think they are as good with light leak as most other goggles too. And then just recently, I had a problem where I was flying the Avada, and we were flying at the farmhouse.
Whoa, not flying, crashing.
Crashing the Avada. I did have a little crash, but it was a pretty small crash, honestly. I was just trying to see if I could actually...
Standard, yes.
Compared to other crashes I've had, it was a small crash, and I was trying to see if I could kill the throttle in the air in normal mode, which you can do by double tapping the button on the remote when you're in acro mode, but you can't do it in normal mode. Anyway, it crashed, and then I put it back up in the air, and the footage, not the footage, but the camera view was super shaky. You could just see this shake going on. And so Chris actually took a look at it and noticed what was going on and what was happening with it.
It lost its rubber.
It lost its rubber. You can see here these little rubber nubby things. Do these things have a name, by the way? Do you know, Kai?
Soft mounts.
Soft mounts. Can you play that one more time, Chris? Is that difficult to do? Okay. Yeah, one of these had actually popped out from where it was supposed to be attached to, not the frame necessarily, but to a part of the frame. So Kai had all the proper tools with him on his truck, and we took it all apart. There's actually a video of this. And Kai, how much would you say on a difficulty level it was to get it apart enough to get the soft mount back in place?
It wasn't super difficult. I mean, you take apart a Cinewhoop, you are talking lots and lots and lots of screws. I mean, I've got a Cinewhoop, to get into it is 28 screws.
Well, and so Mr. Genius here, being me, I started taking it apart and didn't pay attention to what screw was what. And so some of them were M1.5, which is 1.5 millimeter, right? Some of them were
M1.6.
Some were M2. And the problem is, if you try to put an M1.5 in an M2 hole, it falls out. If you try to put an M1.2 in an 1.6 hole, it basically ruins it, right?
Makes it bigger.
Yeah, and so as we were going along, putting it back together, I realized I had done that. I hadn't paid attention to where they go, and so it was okay. We were able to get it back together, and then I basically just got some bigger screws and put them in where I'd kind of gouged out the hole a little bit. So, Kai, how do you avoid that? How do you, like, when you take it apart, how do you keep track of what goes where?
Well, you can either arrange them in your workspace to where they come out of your drone,
the shape
or
of the
you
drone?
can take a picture of it and print it out and lay the screws wherever you pulled them.
Oh, well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do that. We were in fairness,
out in the field.
We were in the field working on the back of your truck, and the first time I took it apart. So basically, probably by the time we took it all apart, you didn't have to take the motors off. That was one good thing. But in order to get this bottom frame piece off, probably about 25 screws, you'd say? 30 screws?
About a dozen screws.
Okay,
I mean,
12.
it was 3, 6, 8, 12, yeah.
Then there were a couple on the other side too, I think, right?
And we pulled, whoops. Well,
That was
somebody remember where that went. We might need it later.
That was just the lens guard. Yeah, so okay, a dozen.
14 screws.
14 screws. And ultimately, Kai was able to get it apart. You do have to, in order to get this frame off,
you have to flex it.
You have to flex it because it wasn't coming off very easily. And also, you do have to pull this bottom sensor piece off, and there is a ribbon cable that you have to disattach and reattach. And Kai, just hold up your hand for me. I mean, this guy this guy, I have big hands. This guy is working with these tiny little M2 screws like a surgeon. I mean, he's just in there like dit, 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 dit. But the coolest part about all of it, and this is why you should go watch that video, is he showed me how to use fishing line to put these soft mounts in. So can you explain how you do that? Because everybody who's ever has to put a soft mount in should know this.
I just take a fishing line and wrap it around the rubber and then pull it through the hole.
And
I mean, don't pull stupid pulling on it. You know, pull it and let it come through.
It pulls it through and then it disattaches from itself. It basically it comes apart and it has just enough force to pull it through the hole, but not so much that it's a great way to do it. So if you've never done these mounts, and Doc Murdoch says use a magnetic dish so you don't lose them. And he said the rubber things are called nubbins. I like that name. And thank you, Artco Drone Solutions, for your $5 super chat. Yes, I did watch Art's video about flying through the drive-in theater with the Avata. It was excellent. I suggest you go over to Artco's channel and check it out. And I really enjoyed the music. It was kind of this cool country, modern country vibe. And shout out to Lee with Yellow Rose Drones, who has been a member after 15 months. Lee's wife passed away recently, and I'm really glad to see you in the chat, Lee. Hope that you're doing okay. And, the community definitely supports you. I hope I'll see you at a meetup sometime soon down in San Antonio. Lee's from here in Texas. So everybody, shout out to Lee and hoping he's doing better after losing his wife recently.
Next meetup is on the 15th at 5 o'clock. Just so.
Yeah. Kai's got a Facebook group, right?
Yeah.
It's the best way to get the directions and everything?
Yeah. Central Texas Drone Meetup.
Central Texas Drone Meetup. So all of that said about the Avata, the other big thing that we have to keep in mind with this thing is the actual transmission, the video transmission. This has great video transmission if you're flying by yourself. You can get 50 megabits, really clear feed. But the minute you start flying with other people, and we do fly with other people, because why? Why do we fly with other people? Because we don't fly alone.
Don't fly alone.
That's right. So it screws it up, right?
Because we all know somebody keeps an eye on you.
There could be a lot of problems if you plug this thing in and you've got other pilots around you. So Kai has actually done a little research on this, and you want to share with everybody that chart. Can we bring that chart up real quick, Chris? Thank you. So tell us what we're looking at here.
So that's a frequency chart of all the different bands down at the bottom, line D and J. D is DJI in 25 megabit mode, and J is in a 50 megabyte mode. Now, that also matches the frequency for Walksnail to a T. Walksnail is running the exact same frequencies.
So if you're flying a Walksnail and a DJI digital together, you have to be careful not to get on the same channel.
Yep.
So with the Avata, there's only, if you're flying 50 megabits, there's only 3 channels available.
No, there's only 1 channel available.
Okay. Explain.
If this is set for the 40 megahertz bandwidth, you only get 1 channel. If you set it to 20 megahertz bandwidth, you get 2 channels. If you set it for 10 megahertz, then you get 3 channels.
That's right.
But those channels are actually not matching channels 1, 2, and 3 of the DJI. Chris, if you want to go back to it, you see that little red box right there? That is where this thing frequency hops. It's not set to a certain frequency. It goes from A to B and grabs whatever channels are best.
So it's around channel 2 on a regular digital system.
Yeah, and for our European friends, that is the entire 5.8 gigahertz bandwidth.
So basically, this thing is an interferer. It causes major interference. So if you are...
well, our understanding was, you were on channel 1, I was on channel 1, and we didn't know that. Or I was on channel 2, you were on channel 1, thinking we're on 2 separate channels. Turns out, no, we're on the same channel.
Right, and so you could be in the air and all of a sudden your drone could go down because because I plugged in and you didn't see it. That actually happened not last time we flew, but the time before, right?
Yep.
So I guess the upshot of that is if you do have an Avata and you're learning about FPV and etiquette for FPV, just be aware that you don't want to plug this in while other people are flying until you check with folks and see what channels they're on.
Yeah.
Fair?
We're at the meetup. I'm going to put all the Avata folks in one group off to the side, and they can figure out amongst themselves who's flying when. And then, the rest of us are either going to stay below it or above it.
So if you're on 1 or 5 or 7, that you should be fine on digital FPV, right? V1.
It'll be 1, 2, 6 or 7 on the 25 megabit, or 1 and 2 on 50. No, 1 and 3 on the 50 megabyte.
Okay. Well, it's just one of those things where you don't want to be the person that plugs in and causes someone else to crash. So Avata owners, be aware. I mean, I think this is a great little drone for starting out, for people to learn how to fly. Much more approachable than the DJI FPV, the original one, because it is smaller. It is a little bit easier to take apart and fix, if you're willing to take 12 or 14 screws out. But I think ultimately it's got a challenger, which is this Walksnail thing. So
well, hold on. Before we get off of the whole Avata thing, now there's another little controversy going on about this thing falling out of the sky.
That's right.
And
what's causing that?
Well, there's prop wash, and then this thing is extremely top heavy, right? What happens when this thing goes upside down?
It doesn't want to flip back over.
No, it shuts itself off.
Oh, yeah, there's that too. I guess
if you hand land it, you don't land it on your hand because your fingers are going to be stubby with these props. You actually grab it from the top and you flip it to shut it off.
In normal mode. I don't think that's true in acro mode.
Well, I don't know where everybody's crashing, but I know if this thing flips over upside down, it shuts itself off. And they're flying maneuvers where the craft loses its lift, and because it's top heavy, it goes over, and then it shuts itself off, and that's the end of that.
Yeah, but bouncing. I don't think it shuts itself off in acro mode. I think in acro mode, I think you're right, because I tried to grab it in acro mode and flip it over, and the motors are still running. We'll test it. We'll test it and see. You're correct though. If it is in sport or normal mode and it does flip over, you may be correct about acro mode too. But I've flipped it and it didn't turn itself off. And it can flip without turning itself off, and it can do a power loop without turning itself off.
Well, in their setting and where you actually have to enable to be able
you have to enable it to be in manual, and you have to enable the to have a more pitch and roll than standard. Yes, that is true. So if you didn't enable that, that's where it might actually turn off. You could fly in manual, but it would Well,
it's not really a replicable thing, was it? Because sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. So
I do know that your theory about prop wash is shared by others, and I think is true. It's basically what's happening is when you go in and you do a hard yaw on this thing, you do get this kind of shake with it.
Yeah, it wants to shake, and then it's top heavy, and it
flips over. Yeah. So the point being, though, it's not a freestyle drone. Ultimately, this thing is a Cinewhoop. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I am doing a fly-through at a friend of mine's restaurant with this, and I'm using this because it's so dang easy. If you put it in normal mode, flying indoors, and it just holds its height. And I went over there 2 weeks ago and did a couple of test runs through it, and it didn't take me very long at all to get a really good line through the place. Versus,
we gonna have paramedics there?
yeah, we're gonna have the paramedics in case. So I did actually. I told Chris this. I don't know if I told you. Yeah, I think I did tell you this. I did actually hit a beer tap at the very end, and it was gushing beer out onto the floor.
Well, you don't need a paramedic. You need a glass.
Yeah, then you just need a cup or Kai to get under there. So So ultimately, I don't know how many people have flown this thing and flown it with the RC controller, not the motion controller, because I don't think you really can flip it with the motion controller. Like, that's less of an issue. But with the RC controller, you definitely can do some little bit of freestyling, but it's not a freestyle drone. Ultimately, this is designed for getting cinematic shots and flying through small gaps, I think.
Yeah.
So anybody who's trying to do stuff like they would with a 5-inch or 6S quad, they probably are kind of asking for it as far as it crashing.
Well, I mean, already people are putting GoPros on top of that thing, and now apparently you need to have a jock strap so the battery don't eject itself.
That's right. Original Dobo sells those jock straps, keeps them going. Well, so I know you're not a huge fan of this. It has its place, but tell us what you got there. I mean, we talked a little bit about it. The Walksnail.
Yeah, we got this little booger here.
So Walksnail is part of Caddx, right?
Yeah, Walksnail is part of Caddx. Now they actually merged back together. So
you want to tell that little story you told me? Because I think it's a pretty good story.
Well, originally Caddx had the contract with DJI, and they developed with Fat Shark the Avatar goggles, these things. And so Caddx spun off the separate company, Walksnail, to start this Avatar business. Well, eventually DJI caught on to the whole thing and terminated contract with Caddx for the Vistas and the air units. So now Caddx is out and Walksnail and Caddx just merged. Yeah, surprise, surprise.
But Walksnail, which is, by the way, the dumbest name for a drone company or a goggle company or a transmission company ever. It's like a snail walking. Snails don't even have legs. I mean, I could understand ooze snail.
Whoa. I beg to differ. I have snails with legs.
You do? Okay.
In my aquarium, I shit you not.
You have snail. All right. I want to see a picture of these snails with legs.
I will take a picture of them.
Okay.
I about freaked out when I saw it the first time.
So these are truly walk snails. They can walk.
Apparently, they do whatever they want to do.
Well, this Walksnail can fly, and so Kai's got the goggles. It is a digital FPV system. It is 1080p, right? The screen in it. Very high quality lenses. Very high quality, materials on the goggles. Actually, can you hold the goggles up for a sec?
Yeah.
And so these are.
Most importantly, these goggles actually fit on my face.
Yeah, they fit much better than the goggles too, and they have the ability to do an internal DVR, and then this little quad right here, this has the transmission system in it, and it's built into the motherboard or the flight controller, right?
Yeah. Actually, hang on for a second.
Okay.
I bought something else with me.
Oh, he brought something else. So Kai showed me this. Actually, Chris, can you throw up the flight footage from it? So this was the Walksnail, a flight with I think Chris is flying on this one because it's really good, and he's flying through a lot of gaps. This Walksnail flight footage is from the DVR in this little tiny quad. And so basically he's just flying on this thing, no stabilization, anything like that. But the footage in the goggles is that clear. I mean, it looks fantastic the whole time. It looks like digital FPV and really good digital FPV. Now watch when he goes back here behind the. Well, I guess you're not going to see any breakup or anything because it's flying. It's recording in the DVR. But ultimately, I don't think Chris, you didn't get any breakup during this flight, did you? No. And it's a 2S. It's a very tiny little quad. I mean, this thing is designed.
1S.
Oh, it's a 1S. This thing is designed to be flown inside. You can see it wasn't super windy that day, but there was enough wind to push it around a little bit. I flew it and I felt it a little bit when it was coming through. So Kai, what do you got there?
Well, I actually brought with me the Whoop board for the Avatar system. This is
Nice.
basically
It's tiny. So this has not only the flight controller, but has the transmitter.
That's not the flight controller.
Oh.
That is just a VTX.
Just the VTX, all right.
And that's the antenna that goes with it.
Wow. Okay, so this sits on top of another flight controller.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And pretty easy to install, you think?
Yeah.
Wow.
4 wires.
Little tiny guy here, and the camera is a Caddx, I assume.
Yep.
Just a little.
It's labeled Walksnail, but
Yeah. This isn't a Polar or anything like that, is it?
no. But
just
it's a nano camera.
Nano camera. Yeah, this thing. I mean, you can see just how small that is compared. Like there's the Avata. There it is by comparison, and it's probably 20 grams.
Less than that. It's about that. Just that part is like 6.8.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm a bad.
What's the antenna and everything? It comes out to just at 10 grams.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's awesome. So this is what Kai is saying they're going to be putting in all kinds of new drones. Basically, if you're buying a ready-to-fly FPV drone, you might very well get this setup in it, right?
Well, it's going to be either the Walksnail, only Walksnail and HD0 offer a Whoop 1S board at this point.
Yeah, this size right here. Yeah, you can't put an air unit in there.
Well, they put naked vistas into these things, but they get so heavy they don't fly worth a darn.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is. I mean, if you're talking less than 10 grams, this is tiny. So you're going to install this in what?
I actually have a Catalyst Machine Works frame, a 4-incher, and I'm going to install.
Oh, you're going to put it in that one.
Yeah, I'm going to put
The shocker, right?
Yep.
Nice.
The shocker 4-inch.
Sweet. Well, so the other thing though that we're excited to try, and we're hoping this actually works out, is Kai is going to fly this thing right now, and the goggles, another feature that they have, although this is not uncommon. Well, I don't know. You can't do that with DJI goggles, can you? Pull an HDMI signal off of them directly?
Yeah, you can, but you need to have a smart controller.
So you
use DigiView.
You use the smart controller via you put
USB-C
USB-C
cable from the goggles
into the smart controller.
Into the smart controller, and the smart controller has the
HDMI out.
HDMI out.
Okay. These goggles have HDMI out directly via USB-C.
Yep.
So what we've got, can you hold them up? We've got the goggles right here. And we have a USB-C to HDMI out. I'm going to go ahead and plug this guy in.
No, whoa. Let me turn a few things on first.
And the signal that comes out is a 1080p.
Welcome to HTX.
Yep.
Warning. Switch warning.
The signal is a 1080p video feed with the heads-up display with all the OSD.
Mode. Fail safe off. Turtle mode. Angle mode.
Yo.
Lots of modes.
Yep.
And so we're going to try something that's never been done before. We are going to live stream the video from this little guy right here, flying live in the studio. Now, what Kai doesn't know is we've replaced the propellers with razor blades. So if he makes any mistakes, it's going to get bloody. Happy Halloween.
You did need a haircut.
True that.
You do need a haircut.
All right. Now, please forgive Kai's flying. He's old.
Not as old as you. All right, you want to plug that thing in?
All right, here we go. Here we go, people. First time live feed of the Walksnail. The snail that walks. Oh, nope. Wait, we had it. There it is. Yeah, that's coming right off his goggles into a adapter from USB-C to HDMI, down an HDMI cable, through a switcher, an ATEM mini switcher, out of the switcher, into an Ethernet cord, out of the Ethernet cord to a router, and off to the internet and to your house. Man, technology is amazing. So let's just hope those razor blades are okay. Yep. There goes Kai. Yes, he's doing it. He's bouncing. And what I really, really like about this is how clear the signal is even when you go down the hall. Because I've flown analog in here before, you know, like little tiny whoops from Emacs, and they just don't have the same clarity once you go past a couple of walls as this thing does. So this Walksnail is pretty cool. You kind of get a look at what's going on back here. We have yellow filters in all our lights, and there's Chris back there. He's gonna go see if he can go over to Chris's station with all the switching equipment. There's our cables. Got lots of cables. This is a proper studio here, folks. Don't believe otherwise. There's our backdrop. See, you thought that was some sort of fancy backdrop. It's just a big blanket. That's all it is. It's my giant whoopee. And here it comes, right over my head. Look at that. I'm just so impressed that this actually works, because I feel like now if we put this in a bigger quad, we could actually fly it right out the door and flip it around in the back there in the alley. Nice job, Kai. No difference in the view when you have the HDMI out?
No.
No? All right. Well, what did you guys think? I think a big round of applause for Kai. Nicely done. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Ray. It is a good studio. It's a bit of a mess at the moment, but it is kind of always in that state. We go from First Friday to clients to, taking stuff out and putting stuff back in. But that was a lot of fun. So what if somebody wanted to get this thing? Kai, you said that this came to you as a kit.
Yeah,
where you had
CADX had a deal on a kit. You cannot get that kit anymore.
Oh, you can't?
No.
But I did see Rotor Riot, I thought, had a 1S kit.
Well, Rotor Riot has the Fat Shark goggles, which
so
is
it's not-
basically the same thing as the Walksnail. They just have a different color and different name.
Are they cross-compatible?
Yeah.
Like, would this work with the
Yeah.
Fat Sharks and,
Yeah.
and the Fat Sharks would work with Walksnail?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the same goggle.
It is the same goggle, same
Inside and
protocol.
out. It's just the only difference is the color.
Gotcha.
And,
Okay.
and the reason I ended up buying the Walksnail is
You have a snail that walks.
Walksnail makes the VTXs, and Fat Shark is kind of a licensee in this thing, so I just went to the source.
You figured since Walksnail makes the VTX, you might as well buy the receiver that is Walksnail.
Yeah, well, like CADX had this thing where you buy the goggles and the whoop for $650.
And then 1S batteries are cheap, and the coolest thing is you can fly indoors. That's the really fun part with this. Is it's not, you're not trying. I've tried to fly this indoors before, and while you can do it, papers are flying everywhere, and it's a big mess. Whereas flying something like this indoors, it's super fun, easy, safe, even with razor blades. Well, again, very cool. Walksnail, we'll look out for them. Now, the other thing you could do with this, if you had this setup, is you could fly it through the Golden Arches, right?
You could.
Yeah. So for those of you that tuned in last week, we started this thing called the Big Mac Challenge, where everyone in a town with a McDonald's was going to safely fly their FPV drone through the Golden Arches, send a video to my contest at Ready Set Drone. This was inspired by Springfield, Illinois, which is where I am right here. And man, I every time I watch that clip, I'm so sorry I didn't try to hit that gap under the light. That would have been super cool. By the way, if you're ever in Springfield, Illinois, do not go eat at Yummy Crab Seafood. Just saying. It's quite dangerous. So I was out with my my little 4-inch FPV Gep RC rocket, just goofing around because we were driving back from New York to Texas, and this is where we stopped. Had a little bit of time to kill, and I saw the McDonald's sign. I always wanted to fly through one, so I started with extended stay suites. Boom, kind of got through that around the tree, and then of course the Yummy Crab Seafood. Boom, kept going. And there it is, off in the distance, folks, was this beacon of golden light where I could smell the deliciousness. I could taste the crispiness. I could feel the warmth of those French fries and the saltiness, and just had to keep going. So with all of that said, we instigated a contest called the Big Mac Challenge. Thousands of people sent me entries, thousands. I mean, I think probably McDonald's has actually officially banned drones thanks to Ready, Set, Drone. Sorry, everybody. So you're not going to be able to do this anymore because they're on the lookout. Even Arby's is in on it now. But thousands of entries and 3 winners that we got. So what I'd like to do now is go ahead and announce the winners of the Big Mac Challenge. Now, the winners of the Big Mac Challenge, they're going to win some pretty cool stuff. First of all, they're going to win a TexRex keychain. These are brand new. And by the way, tell me in the chat, this is a TexRex keychain. It's TexRex on a keychain. If you don't know who TexRex is, it's me. It's a dinosaur who flies FPV. If you can see this, who in the chat ever played with Shrinky Dinks? I can't say that without these two giggling in here every time I say Shrinky Dinks. But who played with their Shrinky Dinks when they were little? Because I used to play with Shrinky Dinks all the time. They're these little hard things, and they're kind of like you put them in the oven and they get smaller, and then they get harder, and then you make keychains and stuff out of them, stuff like that. Anybody, come on, somebody. Chris Hope, I know you must have had some Shrinky Dinks when you were little. Come on, maybe you still do. I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Come on, do I need to refresh this page? What's going on? Shrinky Dinks. One Vision Aerial, yes! Dustin had the Shrinky Dinks. Okay, so I've got a millennial and a foreigner here with me, so they don't know what. Eat More Possum, yes! Lincoln Logs for Ray Kelly, but you know what Shrinky Dinks are. They were these little things you made. Anyway, this keychain is made with the Shrinky Dink, and it is going to be yours as a winner. I also am getting custom TexRex FPV shirts made that will be given out, and a few other great TexRex goodies and Ready, Set, Drone goodies, and maybe we'll even throw in some Lone Star UAV stickers. We got lots of cool stuff that we'll send to you. So, Chris Wedgworth said, I had a stick. Yeah, Eat More Possum. You stuck them in the oven, shrunk them in the oven. That's right. You basically would draw on this little piece of plastic, put it in the oven, and it would get small and hard. Kind of the reverse of.
So back then you had to stick them in the oven to shrink them, and now they just do it by themselves.
Now they just do it by themselves. Now it's like you just have an app on your phone and you push a button and it turns into this. So
there's a Viagra app.
Our first, that's Vimeo, not Viagra. The first winner of the Big Mac Challenge, and let's get ready for that. Do we have a drum roll? Can we play a drum roll? Sorry, Chris, to put you. I thought we had a drum roll in there. This first winner is JP 1970, Jason, and let's check out JP 1970's video. We can skip the drum roll.
Hey everybody, it's JP 1970, and here I am getting ready to do the Big Mac Challenge. This is the Ready, Set, Drone Challenge, where you try to fly your drone through the McDonald's arches. Those are the arches, right across there. So here we go. Wish me luck. Everybody, I just got the shot of those arches with my little DJI Mini SE. So it wasn't pretty, but I got the shot.
Jason, thank you. Actually, flying the Mini through that thing is probably harder than flying an FPV through it, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to JP 1970. He's a winner. He's going to get a prize package. Jason, reach out to me, and I will get your address, your mailing address, and if you want to email me, Kelly at Ready Set Drone. And anybody who's trying to scam me, don't try it, because I know your wily ways. I'll know if it's the real Jason or not. But up next, we have another winner picked from thousands and thousands of entries. This was amazing. It's Gordon Scott. Let's check it out.
I may take your order, please.
Big Mac McDLT, a quarter pounder with cheese, filet of fish, a hamburger, a cheeseburger, McChicken, and McNuggets, tasty golden French fries, regular and larger size of salad, chef for garden or chicken salad, oriental. And for breakfast, egg, big muffin, hot cakes with sausage, maybe omelette, big muffins, all 3 kinds of Danish hash browns, 2 and 4 dessert, hot apple pies and sundaes, 3 varieties, the saucer cone, 3 kinds of shakes and chocolates, chip cookies, and a drink of Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, an orange drink, a Sprite and coffee, and a chocolate, also apple, orange, and grapefruit juice. I love McDonald's, good and greatest, and I get this all at one place.
Now let me get this straight. You want a Big Mac McDLT, a quarter pounder?
Nice flying. What'd you think, Kai?
That was good.
Lots of sideways action. Looked like there was like a swarm of insects or something flying around the camera. Did you see that?
Well, it's not insects. It's the effect.
The old-timey film?
Yeah, the old-timey film.
Okay. Back when they had Shrinky Dinks. That's what TV looked like. That's what we called it back then. Shrinky Dinks and TV. All right. Well, congrats to Gordon Scott for a fantastic video. And then coming in under the wire, Dustin time. Dustin Gable with One Vision Aerial. Let's take a look at his video. Nice flight. Yeah, Dustin, way to go. That was awesome. Yes, so 3 amazing entries out of thousands that we picked. And congrats to you 3 guys. Dustin, I actually think I have your address because I know I've sent you stuff before, but I will have to get the addresses for Jason and Gordon and send them off a box of goodies. Thank you guys for entering the Big Mac Challenge. And hopefully we'll be able to do it again at some point once I hire a lawyer.
Yeah.
I was advised by legal counsel that this may be a dangerous thing, but I think everyone made it. There were no major incidents. So thank you guys for playing it safe and keeping it real. Speaking of major incidents, we have a good friend of the show up next who is standing by on Zoom. Yeah. It is Chris Hope. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know Chris Hope, then you should, because he is the man behind 2 Minutes of Hope. He is also the man he's like kind of makes the rounds. He's sort of the celebrity of the drone world in that I see you on lots of shows, like all over the place. If you want to get, there's that thing called the Matt bump from the Australian guy. If you want to get the Chris Hope bump, have him on your show and he'll do it. So how's it going, Chris?
It's good, man. How you doing?
Awesome. So were you working today? What was up on Friday?
Yeah, Friday's work day. Took off a little bit early, did a little FPV this afternoon, and you asked me to come on, so here I am, man.
You said you hadn't flown FPV in a while.
It's been I got to think, it's August at Ken's Minefields when I lost my bird last August, and Kai was talking about somebody turning something on. That's when I lost mine, and I shout out to Sam Burns. He helped me get mine going again, so I flew this afternoon for the first time in a little over a year.
Nice.
Great.
Nice. And
Yeah.
is that an analog system or digital?
Digital, no, I've gone digital all the way now.
Nice. Well, yeah, you've flown a couple of my FPV drones at the meetups we've had here in Texas, which has been awesome. And of course, you're known for your Saturday morning or Sunday morning sunrise streams. You kind of got the whole country. We do sunrise from East Coast to West Coast sometimes. It's kind of cool.
Central Texas.
Yep.
You know, Texas. We stop here in East Texas. Sometimes we catch somebody a little further west. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So you were doing your sunrise flight, and you've seen this, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
And by the way, you know, I don't know if Chris Waters had anything to do with it, but his handle is Sunrise Water Media, and there was sunrise and water involved in this. So I'm just saying, conspiracy could be, right?
Wait a minute. I don't know why he calls himself Sunrise, because he never gets up that early.
That's true. That's true. He should be sunset. Sunset water. So tell us what happened, Chris.
Oh, I was just doing my live stream like I always do, and I'd already done a sunrise, and I was sitting there BSing with everybody to chatting, and sometimes I go fly I got a little island, I'll go zoom around, but this morning I was going to do a boat chase. There was a guy putting in a boat at the boat ramp, and I had turned from the sunrise to the boat, and I had made mention of buzzards around the bank because they'd cleaned fish the day before. I'm sitting there in the live stream, all of a sudden I seen something white fall.
Wow.
In front of the camera.
You think it's buzzard poop, huh?
I thought a bird had dumped on me.
That'll happen.
And I brought the camera up just a little bit, and about that time it did a 360 auger till it hit the water. I got to watch the whole thing from the front seat of my pickup.
Yeah. So let's can we watch the video here, Chris?
There goes the white thing.
There it went.
I said, "Did y'all see that?"
Yep, and there's the boat on the boat ramp. You weren't too far out in the water, huh?
No, I was probably about maybe 50 yards, 75 yards.
I'm looking at the drone. I don't know what that was. It looked like
Yeah.
Oh man, what
drone's coming down, guys. I've lost it.
was your heart just racing at that point?
Yeah, I'd put the throttle up as hard as I could. It wouldn't go up at all.
It's still running in the water. I can't believe it.
Yeah, and then it was still running in the water. The guy went out there in the boat, and I told him how to turn it off. He had to flip it on its side.
No boat chase.
He got it and brought it to me.
But it's been interesting, hasn't it?
So how, did it? I assume it sunk to the bottom.
No. It sit there and spun with 3 props on it till he went out there and actually picked it up.
Oh, you mean the props? The props kept it afloat, it was almost like a boat propeller.
Yeah, still running.
Wow. So if it hadn't been running, it would have gone to the bottom.
Very possible, because it filled up with water pretty quick. When he brought it back to the bank, it was just water just pouring out of it.
Man, I have put a Mavic in the water before. I think a lot of you have seen that video. Mel tried to fix it, but no avail. So I guess Kai, what would you have done if you had seen that little white thing pop off?
Well, I wouldn't have thought anything of that white thing, but when I'd start doing, I don't think I would have stayed as cool as he did.
No.
Just no way I would have stayed as cool, because, I mean, that thing was going down.
Can you play it one more time, Chris? Is it easy to play that video again?
I mean, you were on that death spiral, and...
So tell us, you pointed out to me a minute ago, Chris, what it was, but what was the white thing as it goes by?
It's that little deal right there. It's the bonnet on top of the blade.
Can you flip it back over to, oh yeah, Chris, can you hold it up, Chris? You're on screen now. Yeah, so that little bit came off, and then the whole prop broke or came off, or what?
I'm assuming it disintegrated inside, Kelly, because the posts are still fine, but the blade, I never found the blade, and I actually went back. Well, it doesn't screw. It's a twist lock.
Yeah, these aren't some of the original Phantoms were screw
on.
Yeah,
it's a twist lock, and it's got a spring pushing tension up against it. And I'm assuming when that bonnet come off, the spring come out with it, and
that's what allowed it to spun it off off of that.
You contacted DJI, and
correct.
They what did they say? They laugh at you, or they were sympathetic? What did they say?
No, I put it in the box, told them what happened. I didn't tell them the blade come off, but I just told them it was in the water, and I shipped it last Friday. They got it Wednesday. They looked at it yesterday and told me that everything basically had to be repaired. We'll send you another one. And they shot me a price, and hopefully it's here next week or so.
Yeah, and it really wasn't that bad. I mean, compared to what buying a brand new one would cost. But you're going to bind it with your existing radio, and you've already got batteries and all that stuff, right?
Yep. I got everything I need. I'm less one battery because that battery I wouldn't.
No.
I don't think I'll use it again.
That battery is done.
Yeah, that battery is definitely done. Well, I do admire you for keeping your cool. Like Kai said, you didn't really. There wasn't a lot of cussing. There wasn't, you didn't throw anything. Kept your cool.
I don't know. I didn't know what else to do. Honestly, I just I got a good group of followers that follow me on Sunday morning, and every one of them was in the chat that day. They were just, oh my goodness, what happened? We all thought it was bird crap because I'd said it so many times about these buzzards and how I was going to stay away from them, and then all of a sudden.
You can tell. I think you even said the bonnet. You can see the black stripe as it goes by. It was because it was diagonal from the other. Was it a pusher or puller? It was one of the two.
Top left.
Yeah. So
front left. I'm sorry.
It was whatever the other one with the black stripe is.
Yeah.
When it came down. Well, I'm glad. Here's the other good thing. It was early in the morning. Hardly anybody out there. You're not flying over anything that could have caused any damage to anybody.
No,
that's why you don't fly over cars.
That's the best place to fly.
That's why you don't fly over highways and freeways and stuff like that, because the one time you don't expect it, boom.
Or McDonald's signs.
Yeah. Don't. That's fair.
I don't have to borrow your attorney.
If anybody tried to put a Phantom through a McDonald's sign, that would be something. That would actually be quite a feat to put a Phantom through a McDonald's sign. No, Chris, I'm sorry that happened. I'm glad everything's okay, and I'm glad I know you took a little financial hit, but at least it's not as bad as it could have been, as far as.
It's all good, man. It's part of the fun.
Well, I guess part of the question, too, is what is it about the Phantom that you like over other drones? Or is it just that's what you have, or do you really like the Phantom for certain reasons?
I've watched the Matics come out over the years, and I've had the old Phantom 4. Still, as a matter of fact, I'm flying it now while this other one's gone. But I've always liked the camera on the Phantom. It's real easy to work, and it takes. I don't do anything professional. I do it for fun. I do stuff for you and a few others, and it serves its purpose. And I just never could see spending any more money on one. And then I run across the Phantom 4 Pro, the V1, the version 1, for a pretty good price, and I bought it, and it had like 10 or 12 flights on it, and I had the batteries for it already, so I was set.
That's the one that went in the drink, huh?
That's the one that went in the drink. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, like I said, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad everybody's okay. And did you know the guy in the boat, or he just happened to be there and he went out and got it for you?
No, his kids, I think, were in the boat, and they said, "Look, Dad."
some fool done put his Phantom in the water.
What's wrong with that?
Santa Claus crashed his drone.
Yeah. I was surprised.
Maybe we need to take up collection, get him that splash.
Yeah, or a parachute.
No, the little splash, that's the one that you can't land on.
I tell you what, Kelly, after it's all over with, the first thing that come to my mind were the pool floaties.
Yeah, that's right.
That's how you sunk yours, right?
I tried that. Yeah, the problem with that is it's pretty top heavy, right? The Phantom is already kind of top heavy, and you try putting those down. It's already heavy. You put those down on the skids, and you're gonna get some possible flippage. By the way, Barry Markowitz in the house. Good to see you, Barry.
Hey, Barry.
And I also I forgot to say this at the beginning, but I believe all our friends in Florida are safe. I know there was varying degrees of wrecks and stuff out there, but wind damage and such. If you were down in southwest Florida, you got it pretty bad, it looks like. I do see a lot of good drone footage though of people doing survey. I think they've been doing search and rescue with drones. That's an opportunity, as long as you're staying out of the first responders' way. That's a good opportunity for people to make a positive difference with their drones. But yeah, I hope Florida can recover from that, because it looks pretty bad. You ever been in a hurricane, Chris?
I've been in some big winds, but I don't think I want to be in a hurricane.
You ever been in one, Kai?
No.
So hurricane.
Well, I've been through some major storms.
Hurricane
But in
Alicia.
Germany, they're not called hurricanes.
Typhoons.
No, they're just called storms.
Oh, yeah. It's very efficient.
you're out at the beach and you can lean into the wind like you're horizontal.
Yeah.
And the wind just holds you up. You can do push-ups on one finger.
I'm
gonna tell you, that's a good wind to hold you up.
Hurricane Alicia. Do you remember that one? Hit Houston in probably the 80s. I remember being like with my mom and my sister. My dad was traveling, and I was with my mom and my sister, and then a couple of our neighbors had come over to the house, and we were all like kind of hiding in the bathroom, and that flooded our street and blew a bunch of trees down. No major damage, but it was pretty scary. I mean, I was a kid, so.
Right.
But there's my brother Brad from Virginia. I think they might have got a little bit of the rain from Ian as well. So good to see you, Brad. It's been a while.
Yep.
Mike Miller as well. Well, so you got a video for us, Chris?
You got it, man.
Yeah,
you got it, dude.
What should we look for here? What was your inspiration?
Well, the video I made today, that location is 30 minutes from the house.
Nice.
And a lot of my fellow Texans might know this, but a lot probably don't on how this got started.
All right.
It's October in Texas, and the Great State Fair of Texas is going on, and that's kind of what this is about. One of our famous icons.
Texas OU weekend, right? That's where it's taking
Texas
place.
OU plays tomorrow.
Pew, pew, pew. Well, all right. Well, yeah. Give them hell. Give them hell. OU sucks.
What is that?
That's what they do. All right. Let's take a look, Chris.
All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 2 Minutes of Hope for October 2022. It's State Fair of Texas time, and it runs for about 3 weeks in October, and they have it there in Dallas, Texas. This month, I want to talk to you about a famous Texan, and his name is Big Tex. Big Tex works up there for the month of October. He stands there and greets people when they come through the gates, and his famous words are, "Howdy, folks. Welcome to the Great State Fair of Texas." You get that greeting every so often when you walk through there. He stands 52 foot tall. He's got a big cowboy hat, boots, Dickies shirt, pants, big old belt buckle. But did you know back in 1949 he started out as Santa Claus in Kearns, Texas? Little old downtown Kearns, Texas. The local people put him up, built him, made a rope for his beard, paper mache, full meal deal back in the day to draw people into businesses there on the downtown there in Kearns. Kearns, a little farming community, cattle community back in the day. And it worked good for the first year, but the second year it didn't turn out so well, so the people that run the state fair come down there and bought him, and they carried him home to where he is now. He's been there a long time. He's got size 70 boots, a 75-gallon hat, and he's 52 foot tall. In 1986, Big Tex welcomed 4 million people on Texas' 150th birthday. I just want to share this with y'all. Not a lot of people know this, but before he got his job at the state fair, he was Santa Claus. He wasn't the original Santa Claus, but he was Santa Claus. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Thank y'all so much. Bye-bye.
Hey, that was awesome.
Scary
I
looking Santa Claus.
I did not know that. That was news. But now, as Kai pointed out and reminded me, for those that don't know, he also caught fire a couple of years ago. You heard about that, right?
He did, and I thought about bringing it up. Yes, he started around up there where his jaw moves, if I remember right, and then it just poof.
Somebody flew a drone into him, and boom. There he
Wasn't
went.
me. Wasn't me.
Somebody.
Size 70 shoe?
Size 70 shoes.
Jeez.
That's what you call full size.
That is a full-size man right there. Well, that's awesome. No matter whether you're a Longhorn, a Sooner, or whatever, if you go up there this weekend to see the game, I hope you enjoy yourself. I hope you stay safe. I do hope it's a good game, you know, even no matter who wins. I don't like a blowout on either side. That's no fun, right?
Texas OU game is usually a pretty solid game, and it's all, in my opinion, it's always up for grabs. They can pick somebody, but it's usually a fairly decent game.
Yeah, and that's where Case McCoy had a really big game years and years ago. I remember Colt's brother.
Cool.
He came out and Case came out. You know, funny thing, I met Case a couple of times. He was doing real estate after he went to UT. He got a job with a real estate company, commercial, and he kind of came calling a couple of times to help me find new office space. So that was kind of cool. Very nice guy.
Earl Campbell don't live about 30, 45 minutes from us over in Tyler. So
I met Earl Campbell a couple of times. I got his autograph actually. And funny thing, when he signed the autograph for me, I had this. Just going back a little ways, you remember the Houston Oilers? You remember the Mac Hayes Houston Oilers hits album? They had Ballad of Bum and the Boys and Love You Blue and Kick It In. Anyway, it was this whole thing of Oilers songs, and my mom gave it to me for Christmas because I was a big Oilers fan at the time. That's cool. And I still have it, and I got Earl Campbell to sign it for me, and he said, "All right, Kelly, I'm writing your name on here so you don't sell it on eBay." I said, "Yes, sir. I'm not planning on selling it." So I got he was a very nice guy. I actually
he's a good dude.
Got to shake his hand, get his autograph, and what was cool about it is when I met him, I told him I had that album, and he said he remembered it, but he didn't have it, so he wanted to see it. And I said, "Well, could you sign it for me?" And he said, "Yeah." So we set up a time, and he actually gave me the address to his office. He had an office down on West 6th Street, and I met up there with him in Austin, and he spent about 20 minutes just hanging out and signed it for me and just talking, and nice as could be. So,
yeah. Oh, Earl.
But yep, big Earl. Well, Chris, thank you very much for popping in tonight on Last Minute. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all you do with 2 Minutes of Hope, and certainly appreciate you always contributing that. And I hope I'll see you again. I hope I'll see you at a meetup sometime soon.
You bet, man. I appreciate y'all having me very much, and we'll catch y'all somewhere next time.
All right. Have a good one.
Take care, Chris.
You bet.
Hook 'em horns.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. So, Kai, you mentioned something about Art's got a show tomorrow night that we should plug.
Yeah. He's got a big show going tomorrow and a giveaway.
Spectrum Radio?
Spectrum Radio.
Yeah, those are nice.
He's going to give away a Spectrum Radio.
So one thing about Spectrum radios, I don't know that much about them, but I had one. I had a little 6-channel. You can bind them with just about any Hobby Zone any Hobby Zone thing. So if you're into flying Hobby Zone helicopters, or also Blade, I think you can combine them with Blade and Hobby Zone airplanes, helicopters. Not really drones. I don't think they have too many drones that bind with it, but
there's some drones that have a Spectrum receiver on them.
Yeah, and they're super easy to bind. That's one thing I always liked about Spectrum. So tune in. Be sure to tune into Fly Zone drones. I think they're on shortly tonight. They're on again tonight, right?
Yeah, Fly Zone is on tonight, but Art's
on tomorrow night, like around 6 p.m. Just go to Artco Drone Solutions. So, all of that said, hey, Susan Lee, good to see you, former subscriber of the month. And speaking of subscribers of the month, we have a new subscriber of the month for October. I just do it for whatever month we're in. And this is a guy, I haven't seen him in the chat tonight, but he is a guy that's been in the drone community for a long time. He hosts his own show with several really awesome guests. He's been to Spin Up a couple of times. You want to read the name?
Ron Brown.
Ron Brown is subscriber of the month with Drone Nation. So if you haven't checked out Drone Nation, he and Marcus and DeMarco do a pretty cool show called Drone Nation. I've been on it a few times. Marcus was also a subscriber of the month. DeMarco, I'm looking at you. So Ron Brown, congrats. I've got a package for you. I will get with you about sending you that package very soon. I've actually got something really cool in it for you that I think you're going to like. It's a little different. But I'm excited to say that and say thank you for all your support over the years. Thanks for coming to Spin Up so many times. Thanks for hanging out with my dad at Spin Up. He always talked about that and how much fun he had, and you were one of the guys he was chatting with a lot, so really appreciate that. Guys, I know, as I said, you don't know how much it means that you guys show up every time. You know, there's a group of people. Chris and I were talking about this earlier today. There's a group of people in this community that can always count on each other and support each other. That's what it's all about. As much as we like to give each other a little grief from time to time, it's ultimately about supporting each other and helping each other out and having fun.
It's all about having fun.
All about having fun. So congrats to Ron Brown, and we're going to go out. And so, like I said, hop over to Fly Zone Drone and check out, next Friday, we're live FPV show today. Oh, okay. Thank you, Michael, for letting me know. It sounds like not this Friday. I'm not sure. We do every other Friday. Okay. Sorry about that. But if you are not doing something next Friday, go check out Fly Zone Drones. And be sure to check out ArtCo tomorrow night. Be sure to check out Lone Star UAV, because he's got an awesome channel and he's got a lot of technical stuff he's doing. He'll probably do a build of the Walksnail. What do you got coming up on your channel?
Actually going to have a review of the Walksnail coming up. I'm going to have a review for a booster pack that you can jumpstart your car and charge your drones with.
Nice. Wow. It'll jumpstart your car?
Yeah.
So it's got some serious amps in it, huh?
Yeah, 30,000 milliamp or something like that. Yeah, it's quite substantial.
All right, cool. Well, guys, again, another First Friday in the books. Appreciate it. We'll be around the first Friday of November, so mark your calendars. And I want to go out with the song we went out with last time, which was the former September subscriber of the month was Seth from Spaz and the Undead. It is Halloween time, so check out Spaz and the Undead and check out this awesome version of the Ready Set Drone song.
Hold on.
Oh, wait.
Brett wants to know where you get the shirt. Go on to my channel, Lone Star UAV, and the banner. Follow the merchandise link. Order a size larger.
Yeah, especially if you get this one. This is the hockey jersey.
Yeah, the hockey jersey. The jersey, you need to order a size larger. The other shirts seem to be true to size. But I tried that on, and it was, a little tight. It was really showing off my non-existent six-pack.
The guns. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Chris, take us out.
Fly with Ready Set Drone, 'cause Ready Set Drone will always fly with me. Flying fast and flying